And then these expanded unemployment benefits ended yesterday. So it's all coming down to one thing, they say, and that is this Delta variant. And the person that sort of opened our eyes to the spike in Delta variant cases, and he was dead on, and then it brought us on to the Gamma variant and the Lambda variant, is James Sapirstein. James Sapirstein is the chairman, president, and CEO of AzureRx Biopharma Inc. AZRX is their stock symbol. You can go to azurerx.com. I'll put it up on our website, but he joins us once again here via Zoom. James, sir, I want to talk, first of all, welcome. Great to see you again. I want to talk to you about the watchword, and you and I have been talking about this for a couple months now, but you brought it up, COVID therapeutics. That's everywhere in the news now. Talk about that, because we've depended solely on vaccines, and now I think, is this chapter 2, you think? Is this a natural progression of the story? And it seems like it would be good news to have therapeutics versus just vaccine.
Yeah, this is chapter 2, and I could tell you some other news that should hit in about another month, but
okay.
That I heard this morning. But yeah, I think everyone's taking a look at therapeutics because right now, the way our immune systems are responding to these variants is not great. So we need to find something that's going to work against the whole virus, not just the side chain that we've been talking about.
So your drug, niclomicide, seems to work for COVID-related GI symptoms and possibly long haulers. At least that was sort of the takeaway I got in the last few interviews. Is that an accurate portrayal in your opinion?
That's what we're testing for. We hope so. We should have a pretty good announcement this week. We're going to let it, we just found out some new interesting data. But we hope so. That's the goal.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about this is if you compare this pandemic, James, to HIV and SARS and Ebola, they all sort of took the same path. But this one, obviously, I think the big differentiator is more contagious, which is now the reason for. I think that was the reason we focused so much on vaccines in the beginning. But would that be accurate, or how does it differ from these other pandemics we've had?
That's absolutely accurate. Actually, the more contagious usually a virus is, it's what's called a self-limiting virus, like Ebola. Ebola is incredibly contagious, but it's self-limiting. It dies off very quickly because it can't take over enough people or enough hosts. This is kind of in between. This is extremely contagious, but it's not that self-limiting. So it's a problem. And that's why these vaccines, we're going to have to keep developing more vaccines. But I heard something interesting on the vaccine front this morning.
Yeah, so you told us, you were the first one to talk about it on television, I think, from anyone, because I spend my days, scouring media outlets just because this is what we do. You're the first one who said there might be a third booster. Second of all, you're also the first one to tell us about Gamma and Lambda variant. Do you stand by a third booster and now potentially a fourth booster? And where are we standing in the Gamma variant and the Lambda variant, and is the Delta variant dying down?
It's a great question. I think the Delta, you're starting to seeing the self-limitation that I'm talking about. It's just taking a longer period of time. The Colombian variant that I spoke to you last time is now referred to as the Mu or the Mu variant, and that's similar to Delta in terms of the way it reacts with vaccines. And Gamma is as bad as Delta from what I hear from around the world. And more importantly, what we're hearing about the boosters is that the news I heard this morning is that they're probably not going to be testing it in immune response, people who have a bad immune system. And the reason is because they're not working very well. And if they tested in these people, their numbers are going to be low. They're going to be low in terms of efficacy, 60, 50%, and bring the overall number. And that would actually hurt the probability of getting approved. So real catch-22 there.
So my question is this. So the original vaccines, the two-shotter for Pfizer.
Right.
I think
Johnson.
Was J&J the one shot? I can't remember which was the one.
One shot, yeah.
But, so obviously we are close to a year since the first vaccine came around.
Yeah.
And that's a relatively short amount of time for vaccine data, although we have new data every year on the flu vaccine because we're trying to get herd immunity every year, right? Is there a thought that you could be two and done or one and done in the case of J&J, or will there be something else that has to be like a therapeutic, like you talked about, or even another vaccine?
I think you'll see another vaccine, quite frankly. I think Novavax is working on something, so that'll be, and AstraZeneca obviously is still out there. But yeah, the third boosters for sure, as you see now. But I think you might even see a fourth booster sometime next year. I really do. In the meantime, let's hope that some of these therapeutics can get approved and out on the market, because that's just going to change the whole landscape.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I hear variant, and I wonder what varies. Do you get a runnier nose on the next one? Do you get
well,
more?
no, I think all of these things mutate, right, James? And it's a
they're easier
variant
to
of the
catch.
existing cootie, right? I think
what
put it in
the-
your parlance, Russ.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're calling it variants, but in the world of HIV, we used to call them mutations. Basically, so they're pretty much the same thing. It's a different version of it.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, James, for you guys at AZRX, AZRX, by the way, is their stock symbol. What's the next 18 months look like? Do you stay the course on COVID therapeutics? Because you've got inhibitor colitis and pancreatic enzyme inefficiency or insufficiency that you guys are working on. You got cystic fibrosis patients. Are you working at everything at one time? Or are you focusing on one, then move on to the next? How does that work?
Right now, we're working on everything at the same time, but stay tuned. We've got the next few weeks. We've got some great things that we're going to talk about. It's exciting. It's so far it's been a very busy summer.
Yeah, good stuff. His name is James Sapirstein. He is the chairman, president, and CEO. Their stock symbol AZRX, AZURE-RX.
That's interesting.
Biopharma.
You know?
And you can, yeah, it's really, well, I'd love to talk to, I'd have James on every day if I could.